So with all the excitement for the Nintendo Switch 2, today's video is going to be on a topic that's been highly requested for a while, and that is my most wanted features and kind of my wish list for Nintendo's next generation system. And I've actually had this video planned for a while, but every time I get close to uploading it, there's been some crazy Switch 2 leak that comes out which has taken priority over it, so I haven't been able to upload it. But I do want to talk about this because there's definitely a lot of things that I really wish for on the next Nintendo system, and so that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to be covering like over 20 or so things that I really want to see, but I do want to mention that this video is probably going to have things that are not all going to happen on the Nintendo Switch 2, as it is my wish list, so there's definitely going to be things in here that are pretty unlikely, so we're not going to be talking like logically about like what actually might happen on the next Nintendo system, but just like a wish list and basically the things that I dream for a new Nintendo system to have. And so the first thing that I really want to see on the Nintendo Switch 2 is support for HDR. Now, if you don't know what HDR is, it stands for High Dynamic Range, and it's really a technology that has started appearing on a lot of TVs after like 2013, 2014, and it also appears on a lot of video game systems like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, but there was even an update that came out in 2016 for the PlayStation 4, which upgraded it and added HDR support. And so what HDR does is that it makes the colors and display of your TV have much richer, more vibrant colors, as well as better contrast that looks much more realistic and just gives an overall better experience for the games that you're playing. And so the current Nintendo Switch does not support HDR at all. I'll try to see if I can find some type of comparison to show what it would look like if it did, but I am really hoping that the Nintendo Switch 2 does have HDR support, as if a lot of the newest games that are now releasing for the system have HDR, it's just really going to make the experience so nice when you're playing through some of these games, like a brand new Zelda game where all of the grass and the forest and trees and everything just makes all the foliage look super green and vibrant, or if you're playing a game that's very sci-fi like Xenoblade and having like the space and the stars be completely pitch black dark on your TV, just seeing all the stars twinkling around and all the galaxies and everything, it would look really incredible. So I am hoping that a lot of the newest games and the entire system has HDR support. One of the absolute most important things that literally every single person who has a Nintendo Switch wants fixed for the next system is to no longer have any type of Joy-Con drift. Now, in case some of you are extremely lucky and have never experienced this or you don't know what it is, Joy-Con drift is when you've used your Joy-Con for a pretty long time and the joystick starts registering inputs on its own even when you're not using the controller. And so because of that, if you're playing a game like Zelda, you can have your hands not even on the Joy-Cons, but Link is going to be moving on its own because the joystick is registering some type of input that you're moving your joystick to the left or right even when you're not holding it. And this can be extremely annoying on like the Nintendo Switch's home screen where it's scrolling through all of your games by itself and you can't really control it or stop it from happening. And so this has become a huge issue for so many people with the Nintendo Switch, and so I'm very much hoping that it is resolved for the next Nintendo system, because this has been a very expensive issue for Nintendo, as well as they basically had to offer free repairs for anybody who had this under their warranty, and so they had to pay for all the shipping for everybody's controllers, having to fix them for free and send them back and everything. I'm sure it's been a disaster for them this entire generation, and so a lot of rumors are saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be using Hall effect joysticks, which are joysticks where this can essentially not happen at all, and they're going to be joysticks that can last for a very long time, so I am hoping that that's the case. Now, one of the biggest leaks and rumors that we've had for the Nintendo Switch 2 is that it's going to be utilizing NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology to take low-resolution games and be able to upscale them as if they're appearing in 1080p or even 4K. And I'm really hoping that the 4K support part is true, as I really do want to see Nintendo Switch 2 games be able to reach 4K, even if it isn't natively, obviously, because the Switch 2 isn't going to be powerful enough to do that, but just being able to have like an upscaled version of the game as if it's appearing in 4K, just to have that on a 4K TV would make the game look so crispy and amazing. And I don't think that every game is obviously going to be able to do this, especially some of the more ambitious games that are going to be like really open world and everything, but just having a lot of the games that can be able to reach that just have 4K support, I think it's going to look really amazing for modern TVs and really help this system last all the way up until like 2031, 2032 for the entire generation. So I am really hoping that that's the case. Now, while the Nintendo Switch does have screenshotting and video clip recording capabilities, the way that all of this is designed has actually been really poor, where for some reason, every single screenshot that you take with your Nintendo Switch, even if it's in docked mode and stuff, is always like this really low quality 540p image. And I don't know why it does that. I'm really hoping that with the Nintendo Switch 2, if you're playing it in docked mode and the game is actually played at like upscaled 4K, that all of the screenshots are also in that upscaled 4K as well, or 1080p or whatever the game is running at. Same with all the video clips, and I also want the process of getting all of these from your Nintendo Switch onto other devices to be really easy, because right now you have to open up the album on your Nintendo Switch, have like this QR code show up, and then you point your phone's camera at it, open up the QR code from that, and then you have like this separate link that gets opened up, and then you have to download all the images. It's just very tedious and time consuming, whereas on my PlayStation 5, all I gotta do is I'm playing the game, I take a screenshot or a video clip, and then after that, I just open up my phone, open up the PlayStation app, go into my game gallery, go to captures, and there's all of the pictures and clips that I've recorded. So easy, and then I can just download them right into my phone and then have them shared with text messages or post them on Twitter or anything. It's very easy, and I'm really hoping that they do that with like the Nintendo Switch Online app or something, where you can just take like your screenshots on your Switch 2, and then they all get like seamlessly transferred over the cloud or something to your Switch Online app, and then you can just open it on your phone and transfer all the pics there. Now, unfortunately, because of all the leaks and rumors for the Switch 2, this is something that's basically almost guaranteed to not happen, but I still want to talk about it as it is something that I really wished for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that is having analog triggers for the Joy-Cons as well as the Pro Controller. Now, in case some of you don't know what analog triggers are, essentially the triggers that we have on the current Nintendo Switch are digital triggers where they only register as one input, so you either press in the trigger button to do something in a game or you don't, and that's all there is. But analog triggers are triggers that are more pushed up, and because of that you can press them down a little bit more, and they can register different amounts of sensitivity depending on how much pressure you apply to the trigger itself. And so these types of triggers are on the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and I think even the PS4 and the Xbox One had them, and they might have gone back even more. I can actually remember the 360 having triggers like this too. And so essentially what this can do is, in a lot of games, you can apply different levels of pressure to the triggers for use in different things with different games. So like if you're playing a racing game, for example, the more you press down the trigger button, it can be like applying more pressure to a gas pedal to make your car go faster. And so if you really push down the trigger all the way, it's like you're flooring the car and it goes really fast. If you're playing a shooter game, you can hold down the trigger all the way to go like really fast with the rapid fire of your weapon, but you can press it down just a little bit to give like short bursts of bullets. Or if you're playing like an adventure game, you can like push it down all the way to pull back your bow for like an archery bow really far, or you can hold it down just a little bit to pull it back just slightly. And it can be very creative, and especially with a lot of these third-party games that use these types of features that are going to be coming to the Switch 2, I was really hoping that the Switch 2 was also going to have analog triggers, but with all the leaks and kind of all the images that we've seen of the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons and everything already, it's unfortunately not going to be a feature, which is really unfortunate. Now, by far, one of the most wanted things that I really want to see on the Nintendo Switch 2 is for old games on the current Nintendo Switch to get some type of upgrade or patch for the Nintendo Switch 2. As of course, with all the rumors and everything, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be significantly more powerful than the old Nintendo Switch that we have right now, and with that, a lot of games can get potentially really good upgrades to make them really fun to play on that new system, and I'm really hoping that some of these games do get patches, like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, being able to unlock those games to have 60 FPS and getting much fluid combat and running around in the world, maybe getting some better resolution and just having the game look really sharper for like games like Xenoblade, which are like these huge open world games where you have so much to explore and stuff, getting better frame rates and things like that. I think like a lot of games could really benefit from getting some amazing upgrades on the Switch 2, and I really want Nintendo to do that. They could make these upgrades be kind of paid if they want to get scummy, and maybe if they add some extra features and things, but just having free updates coming out for some of these games would be so amazing to see. I really hope that the Switch 2 has some type of messaging feature where you can send like the friends that you have on your list like a quick DM or something if you want to ask them to play a game, or you could share them like a gameplay clip that you recently had or a screenshot or something. And it's really weird because the Wii U actually had this with Miiverse where you could do this with your friends and send them messages and DMs, but they got rid of this on the Nintendo Switch. And speaking of Miiverse, I really want to see Miiverse return to the Nintendo Switch 2. Obviously, it wouldn't be called Miiverse because it was all about like the Miis with that, and it was like that entire Wii generation, but I really want there to be like a social media platform like Miiverse for the Nintendo Switch 2, where anybody can just share like their gameplay clips or some of their new screenshots, or even if they're stuck on something in a game, they could ask for help on the community for that game, where they could just say like, hey, how do I beat this boss, or do you have any tips for getting through this or something, and other people can reply to that. Maybe if somebody has like really good drawings or just really funny posts and stuff, you could follow them, you could make friends that way. It was honestly way ahead of its time to have that on the Wii U, and I really feel like with the entire ecosystem of players on the Nintendo Switch, and if they could honestly even have an update to bring that to the Nintendo Switch with like the current Switch, having that and the Nintendo Switch 2 and all of the players being able to kind of share images and talk with each other like that, it would be really incredible to have. And then also having like a phone version now too, where people could have that on their phone and scroll through like posts and things on their phone too, having all of that like interconnected between the two systems and everything, it would just be really amazing. So I am really hoping for some type of community feature or social media feature like that on the Switch 2. Now, because Nintendo has already announced that the Switch Online is going to be carrying over to the Switch 2, I am really hoping that the Switch Online is going to be just much better integrated into the Nintendo Switch 2's OS and everything, as right now on the current Nintendo Switch, even if you look at like the bottom and you look at like that little Nintendo Switch Online icon that looks so different from everything else, it really just feels like everything about it was an afterthought, and they kind of just stapled that on as like an extra little update because it wasn't there when the Nintendo Switch first came out, but they added that in like a system update. So I'm really hoping that because now everything is just going to be integrated and it's going to be a part of the Switch 2 from day one, I hope that all of the stuff with the Switch Online is able to be like very seamlessly integrated and it doesn't feel very laggy or anything like how it does on the current Switch. But speaking of laggy applications, something else that I feel like everybody wants to see get a complete revamp and overhaul for the Nintendo Switch 2 is with the eShop, as the current eShop right now is really just garbage, as unless you know exactly what game you want to buy, you can go up to the search and type it in and find it, but it is so bad at just being able to discover like new games that you might be interested in checking out, or games that are on sale, or anything really, because so much of it is just full of like AI slop games that aren't really monitored. There's no types of filters to take out games that you might not be interested in, and so I'm really hoping like that the eShop gets a complete overhaul and a whole brand new design on the Switch 2, and that it just looks really nice. Hopefully they can add a little bit of music to it as well, and really I just want it to look much better and more sleek because it's really going to have all of these Switch 2 games on it now, as well as the entire Switch 1 generation, where you're going to have all of the backwards compatibility games from that, so you're really going to need to have a really amazing eShop. And I actually already made an entire video going over what I would do to change the eShop completely, and I even have like a mock-up in there of what I would want the eShop to look like on the Nintendo Switch 2, some of the new features that I would add. So if you're looking for a more in-depth video on all of the things that I would add to the eShop, you can definitely click or tap on that little eye up in the corner right now if you want to go and check out that video, but I'll also have it in the outro of this video if you want to go and watch it after you're done watching this one. When it comes to the online stuff, I'm really hoping that there's actually native voice chat that is built directly into the Nintendo Switch 2 itself in terms of the system OS, because right now voice chat on the current Nintendo Switch is just complete garbage because they want you to take out your phone and essentially use your phone as like the microphone and everything, which is just so stupid because at that point you'd rather just call your friends if you're using your phone, but it's even better to just open up Discord on like your computer or something, put on a headset and have all your friends hop into a call like that. So I'm really hoping that all of that now is just integrated into the system itself so that you can just open up a lobby right on your Nintendo Switch 2, invite your friends into the call, you can put on a headset and be able to talk with your friends playing a multiplayer game like Splatoon or Mario Kart or Smash or something, or even just having a party chat in general, so that even if you're playing like a Xenoblade game or if your friend is playing Zelda or something, you can all still just talk with each other while you're enjoying the games. And also going off of that, I really want there to just be a very seamless inviting system to play anything with you on the Nintendo Switch 2, as the Nintendo Switch right now does have some type of invite system, but it's not really used universally by like every game, and it's really kind of dependent on like if a developer decides to use this feature or not. I just want there to be like one universal inviting system that can be used for anything on the Nintendo Switch 2, whether it's Mario Kart or Smash Bros or some third-party multiplayer game, doesn't matter, just have it on on the Nintendo Switch 2 so that you can see it appear right on like your friend list or something. If your friend is playing a game, like it just gives you like a join button there immediately, or they can send you like an invite that shows up as like a notification, and you can just go to that and be able to join in their lobby immediately from that and go right into the game. Just make it very seamless so that you can join your friends and you don't have to do like these lobby codes for like Smash Bros or anything like that, and it's just very easy to join your friends. I'm also hoping that there's just a much easier way to add friends on the Nintendo Switch 2, because right now everybody hates having to type out that really long friend code to give somebody if they want to have them add you as a friend, and I feel like it would just be so much easier if you could have like a username or something tied to your Nintendo account, and that way you could just tell somebody, yeah, my username is Aero or this or whatever, and they can type it in and easily be able to find you. This is another one of those things that was actually done on the Wii U but was removed for the Nintendo Switch, which is so weird because on the Wii U, you had something known as your Nintendo Network ID, which was essentially like a username, and that way you could just have like your friends and then be able to add their username in, send them a friend request very easily, and it was so easy to be able to add friends, but they completely got rid of this on the Nintendo Switch. So I think that the Nintendo accounts right now already have some type of like login username or something, so I feel like if they could just use that because it is unique to everybody and have that as a way to add friends or something would be really nice. Now, honestly, one of the best features of all time that Nintendo has made for one of their systems was with Street Pass on the 3DS. And if you don't know, Street Pass was a really cool feature where essentially you could have like your 3DS in sleep mode or still have it turned on, but if it was inside of your pocket or your backpack or whatever, and you walked by anybody else in the world who also had their 3DS in sleep mode or turned on, the 3DSs would silently connect with each other, and you would be able to add that person into your Street Pass Plaza, where when you went home and the next time you looked at your 3DS, it would have like this really cool green light to tell you that you walked by somebody else who also had their 3DS with them. And then you could open up your Street Pass Plaza and see their Mii come in, and you would be able to see what their name was, what game they were recently playing, and it was just super cool because sometimes you would even see the person playing their 3DS and like you would see them from far away, but then when you went home and you have their Mii join in, it would look just like them and you'd be like, oh, that was that person who I saw earlier today. It was just a really, really cool feature. And this feature would honestly be so perfect to have on the Nintendo Switch because it is basically the same thing where you're taking your Switch with you on the go. Some people have their Switches in their backpack and stuff. You obviously see a lot more Switches out in the open too because the Switch has sold more than the Nintendo 3DS, so there will be even more people to do this with, and I really want there to be a feature like this with the Nintendo Switch 2. Honestly, it would be a perfect world if they could have that added as like a software update for the original Nintendo Switch as well, and that way with so many millions of Nintendo Switches out in the world, just having that in your backpack or wherever with you and going home and then just opening up the Switch again the next time you get online and just seeing all of the people with Nintendo Switches that you walked by and having them all connect with each other, it would just be so cool. But even if they don't want to do it with the Nintendo Switch, this would be one of those things that is actually really good to do with your phones because everybody has their phone with them outside, and just having their phones silently connect with each other, maybe through like a Nintendo Switch online app or something, it would be really cool to just have it work in some way like that and just have some type of connection. So I really would love to see a feature like this for the Nintendo Switch 2. I also hope that the new Pro controller for the Switch 2 has a headphone jack that's built right into it, because right now the Switch has some good support for Bluetooth or wireless headsets because they added an update where you can have those connect, but if you want to use like a high quality wired headset while playing your games in docked mode, the only way to do that is to have like a really, really long extension cable that you run from your dock while putting the headset in that way and then having it all the way to where you sit. So I am hoping that they do have one just built into the Pro controller, so that way you can have some nice quality wired headsets and still be able to play games in docked mode. And it would also be great for like not disturbing people if you want to play a game in docked mode but it's pretty late at night and people are sleeping or something, so I am hoping that they add that for the Switch 2's Pro controller. I think we can all collectively feel the disappointment in looking at this image, because how is it that the Nintendo Switch has been out for over 8 years and we still only have these two basic white and basic black options for the themes? Man, I remember getting my Nintendo Switch day one and opening this up and being like, man, in a couple years there's gonna be so many cool themes and things to have on here, and no, it's still the exact same. So can we please have themes on the Nintendo Switch 2's OS? let us be able to customize with different backgrounds and home screen music and stuff. And honestly, Nintendo could even charge like $1.99 for some of these themes, and so many people would be willing to pay like an extra couple dollars to get a few themes here and there for the games and things that they're interested in. So they'd honestly make so much extra money, and I'm honestly so confused as to why they don't have it on the current Switch, and they had it on the 3DS, so I really have no idea what they're doing. Please bring themes to the Nintendo Switch too. And really just going off of that, I want the entire home screen and OS and UI experience on the Nintendo Switch 2 to feel much different coming from the current Nintendo Switch, because right now the Nintendo Switch's home screen just feels so soulless to me. It looks so basic, and it's really kind of missing like that Nintendo charm that you used to have on like the Wii U and the 3DS and even the Wii, where I remember like opening up the Wii home screen, you would have like all the channels load in and you could like open up the little channel with the Wii remote and stuff. It was just so cool and unique. And even with the Wii U, just having all these colorful icons and everything and all the Mii's running in and just how everything looked, it just was much more colorful and nice. And going from that to the Nintendo Switch was pretty disappointing, so I do want there to be a complete overhaul from the Switch to the Nintendo Switch 2, and maybe if they could even add some better features to it, like maybe having music and stuff, like that would be super cool if you could like connect like your Spotify music or Apple Music like how you can on the Xbox and PlayStation and be able to listen to some music while playing games, or maybe even just have like Nintendo's own like little music app that they recently released, where like the Nintendo music from other games, have that incorporated into it and stuff, and listen to some other music while playing through some games or just like grinding out some levels in an RPG or something. It would be really nice, and I just want to see the entire UI experience be different from what we have right now. I'm actually making an entire video on it, which I think I'll probably release at some point, because I actually did an entire stream over on my Twitch where we made an entire Nintendo Switch UI concept from scratch, and I'm gonna have that mentioned inside of the video and talking about it. And so I'll probably make a more in-depth video on all the stuff that I would love to see for the Nintendo Switch 2's UI. Hopefully the Nintendo Switch 2 also comes with a better activity log feature, because this was actually something that was on the Wii U and even the 3DS, where you could open the app and be able to see kind of how long you've played each game, what days you played the most, and really like be able to keep track of like how much time you've been playing. And really the Switch right now is not that good at doing it, because it'll just say like, if you go on like your friend list, it'll say like what games you've played and stuff, and it'll only show like the first like 10 or so, and then it just says like played for 300 hours or more, or like played for 10 hours or more, and it's just not really that well made. And then also like I think you can't even see like any of the hours for like the first week, because it'll just say like played for a little while. So I'm really hoping that they do like an actual app for it where we can actually see all of that information again. Gifting is also a feature that I really wished for on the Nintendo Switch 2, as obviously you can gift somebody a physical game, but if you've got a friend who lives like far away or something and their birthday is coming up or the holidays or something and you want to surprise them, it would be really cool if you could like be able to just buy a friend a gift from the eShop or something and just have that be like the surprise for them, so that the next time they turn on their system, it'll just show up on their notifications like, hey, your friend Aero just bought you this gift, and they can start downloading the game right away and playing. I feel like it would be so nice, and a lot of people would love to buy each other gifts and be able to share games for each other and stuff too. It would be really cool. So I know that Steam does this, and I think it would be really awesome to have that type of feature on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, both PlayStation and Xbox have achievements, which are like a little checklist of things that come with every game, and if you want to challenge yourself, you can try to do that to get all of the hard achievements and basically have 100% completion for the game. And so PlayStation has it through like trophies, where you can get like bronze trophies, silver trophies, gold trophies, and then a platinum trophy if you get all the other trophies for the game. So it can get kind of competitive with friends if you want to try to see who gets the most trophies and stuff, or you can just have it for completion if you want to challenge yourself to try to get some of the hardest trophies. And I think it would be really cool if they could have some type of system like this for the Nintendo Switch 2 games, maybe even have them updated for old Switch games, where you can have like achievements and try to challenge yourself to get some of the hardest ones. You could have like a completion one for like if you're getting all the Korok seeds in like Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. You could have some challenge ones if you want to beat like a boss on hard mode or something, and it would be kind of fun to have that between Switch games. So I think it would be a pretty cool feature, but I think this is also something that Nintendo is probably never going to do, but it is something that I would really wish for. And finally, the last feature that I have here is one that's already on PS5, but I think it would be really cool to see this for the Nintendo Switch 2 as well, which is a way for you to be able to spectate your friends' games while they're playing them. And so the PS5 has a really cool feature where if your friend is playing a game, you can request them to share their screen, and then you can actually watch them playing the game. And so this can be really useful if like your friend is stuck on a level or something, or they need help with a boss, and instead of describing like a strategy or what you want them to do, you can just straight up see them playing the game game and kind of coach them out a little bit, help them a little bit on what they have to do, and I think it could be a pretty useful feature to have for the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. But with that, there you go guys, those are pretty much all of the features that I would love to see on a next generation Nintendo Switch. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel. I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about the Switch 2, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you think about this. What are some of your most wanted features that you really want to see on a next generation Nintendo system? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about it, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Actually, this video's been really long too, so if you made it all the way to this video and you don't have anything to say, just comment the word Pikachu. And if we see a couple of comments just saying Pikachu, it'll be kind of confusing, but it'll be for all the people who made it to this point. Just comment the word Pikachu with your comment, and I'll know that you're somebody who's actually made it all the way through the video. But yeah, go follow me on Twitter at Aero if you ever want to be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.